TEG, proud sponsors of TEG Cusick Park, serving aviation, biopharmaceuticals and medical industries across the globe. TEG has been to the fore in the fight against COVID-19 with our customers and partners. A local business employing local people. Visit teg.com/careers to learn more. Wishing all our GAA patrons a safe passage through the championship.
Tyrrellspass, wishing all teams the very best today.
Cusick Park pitch is 145 metres long. Imagine 3 of these bridge beams would make up the length of the pitch. Now transport 30 of them from Harney to Kildare. A challenge overcome by a great team with the support of a great community. My name is Pat Barrett, Project Manager, Shay Murtagh Precast.
Hey, mama on the TV wrong. Come and love you, daddy, all night long.
And you? What do you do?
It's a bit complicated to explain.
Hey, hey.
You know, I still didn't get exactly what your job is.
That is what I do.
New Renault Arcana E-Tech Hybrid. Winner, Irish Medium Crossover SUV in the 2022 Car of the Year Awards.
Welcome viewers to TG Cusick Park for this second game here today, but it is the first semi-final of the Shay Murtagh Precast Senior Football Championship for 2023. I'm joined co-commentary here today by Shane Donoghue. Shane, just about able to get him to sit down here after his own team, Lomans, qualified for the county final this year, so congratulations Shane on that. Another big day out for the club.
Great, Ray. Great to get to a county final. It's always a great day to be involved. This group of players, I think it's their fourth one now. They've gotten to the village and start getting the bunting up. There'll be excitement, but prior to that, actually, the club's minors are in a county final tomorrow at 2 o'clock at Shandona. So that should be hopefully a good start to what will be an exciting 2 weeks in the club. And good fair play, a good win today before the final.
Yeah, good progress for the club. But look, we're here to talk about the Senior Football Championship semi-final here between, I suppose, overwhelming favourites, St. Lomans against Tyrrellspass, who probably a lot of people are happy as underdogs and maybe have been written off in a lot of places so far, but we haven't been doing that on our podcast lately. We still think that this is a game that Tyrrellspass are very much going to have a big part to play in.
And they can do, Ray, and it comes down to how they approach this. Are they wary of Lomans? Do they show them too much respect? And that could be their detriment. But if they go out toe to toe with them at a high tempo early in the game, and look, make it physical, make it fast, make it tough, I think they could have a lot to say in it. A lot of people thought that the Lomans backs are susceptible, but they're not if you sit back off Lomans and play this defensive shell. And look, Tyrrellspass been playing a lot of football that way, so they might have to change tact a little bit, at least for periods of this game. You know, whether they manage the first 10 minutes and then they say there's going to be 10 minutes of real gusto and there'll be some sort of call to do that. Look, they will be anxious. Lomans are overwhelming favourites with the bookies, I believe. But like I said during the week on the podcast, I don't think any team in the county has questioned or posed bigger problems for this Lomans side than the Tyrrellspass group that they're facing today. So we shouldn't be naive and think that there'll be a cakewalk for Lomans.
Yeah, it's an experienced Tyrrellspass team. You know, have been in somewhere in the region of 17, 18 semi-finals in the last 25 years or thereabouts. So these are an experienced group as well. Maybe haven't had the titles mostly because St. Lomans have been dominating, you know, in recent years and stuff like that. But Tyrrellspass will still fancy themselves. They have a lot of experience there. Jerry Egan, Dennis Dennons, a lot of experience there on that side. They'll have nothing to fear here today.
No, and it'll be about matchups and who marks who. I could see Nigel Hart picking up Sam McCarthy. You know, two county footballers. Athletically, Nigel will be able to handle Sam and stay with him physically, things like that. Question about who picks up Ronan O'Toole. Will Peter Clark take him again? Or what will they go with Jamie Ganoul, who we know is an excellent man marker, and try and stay with Ronan? So those sort of things as they settle into the game, and we'll see what way it's going to go. But look, Lomans have outstanding firepower, and Tyrrellspass have an element of that with Ian McNicholas, Jerry Egan, Dennis Glennon getting on the end of moves like he did in the quarter-final, scoring 1-1. But it's the Nigel Hart's coming from wing back. He contributed 1-2 the last time. So it's the supporting cast around the big names in both sides that need to have big performances here.
Yeah, absolutely. But look, with that, Shane, we're going to cut into, for our viewers at home, we're going to give you the two line-outs. They should be coming on your screen shortly, but there are a couple of changes on both sides, and we'll get to them as we go along. But we're going to start off, first of all, with the men from St. Lomans. And they line out as follows. In goals, number 1 is Jason Daly. The full-back line, Owen Hogan is at 2. The full-back, Darragh O'Keefe, wears 3, and Oisin Hogan wears 4. In the half-back line, Jack Gagan wears 5. David Whelan is the centre half-back, he'll wear 6. And the one change in the St. Lomans team comes at left half-back, where number 7, Conor Donoghue, doesn't start, and he's replaced by number 23, Kevin Regan. Middle of the field today for St. Lomans, Enda Gaffney wearing 8, and he's partnered by John Heston wearing 9. In the half-forward line, Tristan Graham at 10, Sam McCartan, the centre half-forward at 11, and Sean Flanagan at 12. And the inside line for St. Lomans today, number 13, Danny McCartan. The full forward is Ronan O'Toole, he'll wear 14. And completing the line-up, wear number 15, Shane Dempsey. Tyrrellspass, and they line out with 2 changes from what's going to be on your screens at home. We'll get to them as we go through it. But they line out with Joe Hyland in goals, wear number 1. The full back line, Stephen Quinn at 2. The full back, Conor McMahon is at 3, and Jimmy Ganood at 4. In the half-back line, Nigel Hart at 5, Conor Slevin at 6, and Peter Clark at 7. Middle of the field today, Adam Flanagan wears 8, and Dennis Glennon wears 9. In the half-forward line, Aaron O'Brien at 10, Dean McNicholas, centre half-forward, wear 11, and the first of those changes comes in left half-forward, where number 12, Tommy Ryan, doesn't start, and he's replaced by number 20, David Lynham. And the inside line, number 13 is Pierce Pearson. The second change is at full forward, where Evan Connell doesn't start. He's replaced by number 19, Kieran Garrity. And completing the Tyrrellspass line-up, number 15, Jerry Egan. Referee for today's game is Barry Nee. So Shane, a couple of changes there, a couple of interesting positional things even as well with the St. Lomans team. John Heston line out in the middle of the field. We're more accustomed to seeing John in at the edge of the square. Do you think he'll start there? Do you think he'll finish there?
He'll certainly start there. He's operated quite a bit in this championship in the middle of the field. Ray, he mightn't have lined out with an 8 or 9 on his back, but he's operating out there. It's a job that Paddy is obviously asking him to do, and feel that they need his presence around the middle. Like we know, they have the firepower up front. He'll drift in every now and then and maybe get a bit of a breather, but it allows for players like Shane Dempsey to operate in that same space that John is so accustomed to in there. He will step up and he'll take his frees. I think the Tommy Ryan not starting for Tyrrellspass, I don't know if he's picked up a knock or whatever, but we've seen Tommy being very effective for Tyrrellspass all year. Good ball carrier, great passer of the ball. So that'll be a bit of a loss perhaps to their starting lineup, although Kieran Garrity will operate in the forwards, where he comes in for Evan Connell, and Kieran Garrity is a good ball winner. And I think the David Lynham switch has been happening all the time, where David Lynham goes in and operates in the middle of the field, and Dennis Glennon drops as that sweeping defender and the guy who starts the transition. So some of the changes aren't maybe so surprising because we've seen a trend, but certainly John will operate around the middle for much of this.
Yeah, and we seen Tyrrellspass here 2 weeks ago, Shane, in the quarter-final game. You know, they ran out convincing winners in the end over Tang. But St. Lomans haven't had a competitive game for 4 weeks. Is that liable to be a factor here today, or are these Lomans lads just too experienced to let something like that interfere with it?
Yeah, well, I think that's the case. It's had they not had so much experience of being here, Ray, it could have been a factor, but I think it's something they're used to managing, something that Paddy Dowder was involved in himself. They'd have known when to up the tempo in training. So I'd say that those few weeks for Lomans are very beneficial in terms of getting to another level of pace and another level of cohesion. Obviously, they've had challenge matches as well. We know that they played Dunshaughlin a couple of weeks ago. That was where it was rumoured that John Heston might have picked up an injury that would stop him from playing, but it doesn't look like that's the case with the way he's moving out there.
Yeah, we're going to, I think you have Aaron Naveen, I think we played very short, you just hear the announcement there, but yeah, then like, Kevin Regan also just on that one change come first and Lomans. Kevin Regan, again, he's a player that is introduced pretty much in nearly every game for St. Lomans. I don't expect him to line out a wing back. I expect there to be changes around the team. But look, before we get to that, Shane, we're going to have Auron Naveen.
Maybe not quite yet.
Yeah, while I have a break, Shane, I just want to give a few shout-outs to a few people that listen to us. And I know Joe Hyland is in goals here with Tyrrellspass today, and he's a nephew of mine, but his family are all at a wedding down in the Hudson Bay Hotel. So, Emma, I know you're listening to me, so don't bite all the fingernails off before the game. And Joe will be back down here, and hopefully he'll be free, he'll be ready for a county final place. But we're also going to have a moment's silence in memory of the late Sean Heaven. Sean? Yeah, Sean even played for Murtagh Whites when he made his under-21 debut in 1967. He continued his playing career until 1992, and in those 25 years lined out on a senior county final day 12 times. He played for a decade with Westmeath senior footballers and then moved on to become an administrator with the Murtagh Whites club until 2021. Westmeath GAA and Ear VTV all here send their sincere sympathies to the Heaven family and the Murtagh Whites GAA club. Yes, they go right on. Both sides respecting the national anthem there. Shane, there is a strong breeze blowing out here. It is going to favour the team playing from right to left as we look out from the stand. So Lomans are going to play into the breeze in the first half. We've seen it in the opening game. It had a big impact on the outcome of that game. So Lomans will try and get the scores on the board here. Just looking out, John Heston, I think, has already moved to full forward position. Kevin Regan is in at the middle of the field, along I think with Sean Flanagan, or is it? So the changes all around. Ronan O'Toole gone to centre forward. The referee is just pushing everybody back outside the respective 45-metre lines. Referee for today's game is Barry Nee. And we're ready to get underway here. Barry just double checking, and he comes forward, and up goes the ball. High in the air, ball broken down, no one able to get clean possession, and Ronan O'Toole steps in, gets it for his side, and he's back deep inside his own half of the field, and leaves it off here to Enda Gaffney. Enda. Jack Gagan off his shoulder. Jack got an injury in the last game, but thankfully he's back fit and ready and able to play here and start. And now David Whelan with his first chance to come forward, and with the outside of the right foot fires a beautiful ball in front of Shane Dempsey. Shane gets the possession, lays it off to Sam McCartan on the loop, and then Sam comes back, lays it back as far as Kevin Regan. Kevin carries it across Tyrrellspass 45-metre line. Short fisted pass into John Heston. John shrugs off the tackle there from Connor Slevin, holds the possession. and Lomans very, very patient into the breeze. Remember, they're playing run or two. He's wearing the number 14, but he did line out in his favourite centre half forward position, and eventually the ball is given over here to Oisin Hogan, Oisin to Jack Gagan, and through the hands it goes, and Danny McCartan has it. Danny takes on his man, draws the foul. The referee, is he allowing the advantage? No, he's not. The shot had come in, but it had gone wide, no advantage accruing, so the referee calls it back. Again, Shane, nice patient play, first possession there for St. Lomans. Took their time, worked it in, and Danny McCartan worked to get through to get that shot away, but was fouled, and a scoring opportunity here now for John Heslin.
Yeah, very patient, Ray. But we're sure that this is within John's range, even though he's into a touch of a breeze. We know how much work he puts into his frees. It looks like he's going to try and clip this with his left foot.
Yeah, he's 35 metres out, in fact, with the breeze now. Just walking back, it looks like he's going to hit it maybe now with the outside of the right foot. We'll see. Hits it exactly with the outside of the right foot, but I think he was caught between two lines there. What he was going to do with it there.
Just shows how difficult the breeze is, but maybe a couple of things for the viewers that they'll be interested in. Conor Slevin has obviously been tasked with picking up John Heslin when he's inside, but Dennis Glennon's operating on the inside line for Tyrrellspass today, where he's been deployed as a sweeper or an extra defender for the whole championship. And this could be exciting inside if Dennis Glennon and Kieran Geraghty are the target inside. It looks like Tyrrellspass are looking to have a go at this back line of Lomans that's been questioned in the past. So then if they can get ball into Dennis, it could be very interesting.
Yeah, Peter Clark had the possession there coming out. He was pulled back. Referee, seeing that no advantage was accruing, calls it back. It's going to be a free out for Tyrrellspass inside their own 65 metre line, and Nigel Hart already has his underway again, and he's gone to take the return pass. And first opportunity for the Tyrrellspassman comes forward. Shot comes in from Nigel, but drops it into the grateful arms of Jason Daly there, and Jason starts an attack then with the ball straight out as far as David Whelan. Down the left hand side of the St. Lomans team, they go down close to the terrace side. David Whelan, he's been very effective for his side all through the year, playing at the centre half back. He's taken over the position there that was held for a long number of years by Paddy Dowdall, now of course the team manager. They've worked it now over to the right hand side where Jack Gagan has it, Jack back as far as Kevin Regan, and Kevin through the hands immediately, and Tyrrellspass just sit back and allow Lomans to go forward. But then David Whelan takes advantage of a little bit of space and he carries it forward. Kevin Regan now, he's on Tyrrellspass 65, just lays the ball off, and Oisin Hogan now the latest to come forward, and he gives it on to Shane Dempsey. Shane being picked up by Cormac Monaghan, but gives the ball on to Ronan O'Toole, and Ronan with the left foot drops it in, and again the other opposite goalkeeper is Joe Hyland. He's happy to see that one coming up short. He's under a little bit of pressure, but gets the possession away, and Tyrrellspass building from deep inside the D, and Conor Slevin comes on to it now, and Adam Flanagan with his first contribution here. It's on now to Jamie Ganu. Jamie looking up as he carries it forward. Jerry Egan, first time on the ball, slips inside his man, carries it forward across St. Lomans 45. Couple of men trying to get on, and one of them is Sam McCartan. Now John Hessel's back to shadow him, goes to ground. 4 Lomans men around, and Gerald does very well to hold off the referee. 2 hops, I think is the decision there. Barry knee and the free out. But again, you can see John Hesson, as soon as Jerry can pick up the ball, Tyrrellspass get the numbers around him there, and that danger snuffed out fairly quickly.
Yeah, getting numbers around a guy isn't the most difficult thing, Ray, but not to commit the foul, and in that case force him to make a technical error. That's where the discipline comes into it. And you know, John could have swiped at him, he didn't. He held him with his body, and somebody else comes in, and then Jerry got isolated. Ended up bouncing it twice.
Yeah, Lomans on the attack again here from that free. The ball is moved in as far as Danny McCartan, and Danny out in front of his man. With the first score of the game coming after just 5 minutes. First point. Again, Shane, we've seen in the intermediate game played here, I think we had a half-time score of something like 4-3 against, you know, with the team playing against the Breeze, only managing 3 points. That's a good start already for the St. Lomans men. Kick out from Joe Hyland goes long, broken down, and Conor Slevin is on to him. Conor has a little bit of space as he carries it forward. Nice ball over the top. And Peter Clark has it again. Peter just forced to come back out, gives it to Adam Flanagan. Adam, a couple of men around him, and then he fists it back. Lucky enough, there's the numbers there. Nigel Hart takes the ball up on a nice pass across the field, where Jamie Ganood heads inside the 45. And on the loop around is Dean McNicholas. Gives it back to Dean, and Dean with the outside of the right foot tries to get a shot over the bar, but unfortunately just tugged it a little bit to the left. And a wide for the Tyrrellspass man, Jason Daly. Let's see, what does he do? Will Tyrrellspass put a squeeze on the kick out? So they allow the possession here now, and Oisin Hogan just drifts across into a little bit of space, and Lomans have possession, but they're back inside their own D, and there's room now for them just to carry it out across the 45. Kevin Regan. And over the far side, and the Gaffney has it ended, comes inside now, picked up there by Sean Flanagan. Sean back as far as David Whelan. David comes to his own 65, looking to see what options are there. He has his full back in space here. That's Dara O'Keefe. Dara steps forward and then back to the centre back again, and they go from right to left, and Whelan just continues to carry it, looking for players to make the run off him. And Kevin Regan has possession here now, coming central, about to be closed down, just gets the ball away as far as Dara O'Keefe, gives it on now to Jack Gagan. Jack on Lomans at 65, stops, turns. Lomans all the time holding that possession, no panic as Kevin Regan, nice foot pass over as far to the far side of the field it goes, and now there's a chance here for Oisin Hogan to come forward. Oisin uses Ronan O'Toole, and Ronan, nice little ball inside, and then a fisted quick pass in as far as Danny McCartan. Danny, a couple of players around as well, and again pull back on the number 13 there as he was trying to get through. Referee seen there's no advantage accruing, and St. Lomans, Shane, very experienced even in this situation. The breeze in their face. We're 7.5 minutes into the opening half, and 1 point, and Tyrrellspass haven't really got much possession. And just to prove it, they go short with the kick that time, and the ball fisted over the bar. 2nd point for St. Lomans.
Yeah, and Lomans moved the defence around very well that time, Ray, leading up to the free. And once Ron O'Toole gets his hands on it and he sees a runner, he gets the ball to them. And I think the match-up between Stephen Quinn and Danny McCartan is going to be a concern for Tyrrellspass at the moment, because Danny's been involved in both those scores, winning ball out in front of Stephen Quinn. So Stephen will have to get a little bit tighter, or they're going to have to look at that match-up from a pace perspective. Yeah, from the kick out it's broken down, and Sean Flanagan is on the breaking ball, and Sam McCartan just running off the shoulder takes the pass. He's been faced down by Nigel Hart. Nigel does well, jockeys him and forces him to go back towards Kevin Regan and on to Shane Dempsey, and Shane, he'll back himself into the breeze, fires it in. Oh, it's a great score. Yeah, super kick, and that could be ominous. We know that Shane Dempsey is a confidence player, and when he feels his eye is in, he'll shoot on sight. So any ball inside the 45-yard line that he's collecting with a bit of space could be dangerous for Tyrrellspass. Yeah, that kick just from the 45, rifled over the crossbar, but from the kick out, Peter Clark gets the mark, moves it on again, and Tyrrellspass now with the man who started wearing the number 19, that's Kieran Garrity. Kieran back now to Jerry Egan. Jerry from the 45 as well. He'll see can he match it, but unfortunately that one just in the breeze just came across to the left, and wide number 2 for the Tyrrellspass man, Jason Daly. He's on the 20-metre line. What's he going to do? Dara O'Keefe makes himself available, and Jason takes advantage of that, goes short, holds on to the possession, and almost a nice kick pass down this side of the field it goes for. It's picked up by Tristan Graham. Tristan back to Jack Gagan. Short ball in as far as Ronan O'Toole. Heavy hit coming in on the number 14. Foul committed by Jamie Ganood. Ronan is back on his feet, takes the free, and Lomans are on the move again. And Kevin Regan fires the ball into space. David Whelan, a lot of space for David to carry it forward, and he'll do exactly that. And the Gaffney coming off the shoulder, but Whelan carries it right down along, and then continues the run. And Lomans, good play here. A nice ball across, danger here, through the hands it goes, and maybe one too many passes there, because they had opened it right up there. There was a great goal scoring opportunity there, but yeah, John Heston has picked up a knock, and that is almost like the rugby flick on Ray. He didn't catch the ball. He saw the extra pass. The decision was correct, and I think it was Jamie Ganood who managed to get a hand on it on the line. But look, Lomans are exiting from their kick out way too easy for Tyrrellspass. Like it's a half press that Tyrrellspass are putting on, and Lomans are very, very good through the hand and off the boot, and they're getting from inside their own 45 to threatening the Tyrrellspass goal far too easily, Ray, for anyone that's Tyrrellspass ways, they won't be happy with what they're watching at the moment.
Yeah, that was quality play, and it was great injection of pace. I think it was Sam McCartan was in there and John Heston, and then I think it was Enda Gaffney at the end of it. Just couldn't get the proper contact required there. You see there from the replay, John Heston on the ground, but look at John's back on his feet. Tyrrellspass had the possession and the referee had called the play up, but they'll get us underway again. They've already done it now, and Jamie Ganood back inside his own 45. 11 minutes, 11 seconds on the clock. The ball moved over to the far side where Adam Flanagan comes back in on his left. Again, drops the ball, and then the ball, David Lynham very close to picking it from the ground, gives it on to Jamie Ganood, but Jamie was under pressure, and now we see Dennis Glennon has come out all the way from that full forward position again, starved of any possession in there, combines now with Adam Flanagan. Adam has been fouled, the referee allows the play to go on, and Jamie Ganood has the possession, and now Peter Clark has it. Peter, he'll get forward at every opportunity, comes forward with it, and then right footed, goes long, looking for Dean McNicholas in, ball broken down inside. Again, good defending in there. I think it was David Whelan got a hand on it there, and St. Lomans have turned it over and they have the possession again, and they're already gone towards their own 45. Kevin Regan, the latest man to take the possession here. Over on the far side, O'Toole is dropped very deep and sees a little bit of space. Jinx takes on Peter Clark. Clark does well, just holds him up as O'Toole comes across the centre. Again, Jack Egan is available here. Jack takes the pass, and back there now as far as Sam McCartan. Sam gives it on now to Oisin Hogan, and Oisin sees that there's space in front of him. He comes forward, gives it in, but again, St. Lomans run into the tackles there. Enda Gaffney in the possession, turned over. Adam Flanagan, quick hands now. The referee is calling the play back. Ronan O'Toole has gone to ground. Tyrrellspass had the possession. They would have been happier to stay on the break with it, and they're pointing that out to the referee. And the free is going to be from where the ball lands. Jerry Egan has it just inside St. Lomans' 65-metre line. Looks up and sees that McNicholas has made himself available. He has it. He's going to take on his man. Goes in on his right side, takes the shot. Umpire looks up at that. Again, it's not going to trouble the scorekeeper, and a wasteful kicking with the breeze there. That time, the shot coming in from Dean McNicholas.
Yeah, I thought the better decision was Dennis Glennon off the shoulder, who had made a very good run, and he realised that Dino was going to cut inside, and he was on his shoulder with space in front of him. With a head of steam built up, I think offload to Dennis would have been a better option. They need to register a score, and shooting from 38, 40 metres out isn't going to be the ideal way to get it, Ray.
Yeah, and Lomans are on the attack again. Heston brushes by a couple of players, gives it inside Danny McCartan. Danny straight away, two men around him, and again the foul committed in there, and there was a spare man gone inside there, but the foul was committed. And
yeah, they're getting the defenders getting attracted to the ball, and they're letting a few guys follow in behind. Tristan Graham in that instance had found himself a lot of space. And look, Danny McCartan's winning Anton just put near him, and he's causing trouble again. He's going to have a hand in this score should John tap it over.
Yeah, into the breeze now. He's probably going to be just outside the 20-metre line when he takes a shot. He's looking at the post, going through his own routine, and eventually with the right foot rifles it over the bar. First point of the day for John Heston, fourth for St. Lomans. Tyrrellspass yet to register. 14 minutes 22 seconds on the clock as Joe Hyland thought about going short with the kick out. Lomans trying to put a squeeze on him, and then he chips a nice ball out to the 45-metre line where Dennis Glennon found a little pocket of space, and he gives it off now to Jamie Ganood and Tyrrellspass, trying to increase the pace into it here now, and Dennis has the possession here now, carrying it forward towards the 45, gives it inside. McNicholas comes around, he lays back this time to Dennis Glennon. Dennis, hand comes in, thought he was going to get a free, referee doesn't see it that way, gives the ball now to Jerry Egan. Jerry, again, all this time outside St. Lomans' 45-metre line. The full back has come forward with it. That's Cormac Monaghan, and Cormac does very well, and he wins the free for his side. And the full back coming up there showing his attackers how to do it.
Yeah, and he had to, Lomans are well capable of getting men back behind the ball, and I see Shane Dempsey had actually tracked back to get help in on the defence, and then when Cormac Monaghan found it, his man had left him, he was able to join in and was after engineering a free outfit.
Yeah, Jerry Egan, first opportunity from Jerry Frommer, a free, going to take this one from the hand, and certainly an opportunity for the Tyrrellspass man to get on the scoreboard. We're almost 16 minutes into the opening half. Jerry has a look at this one. Just from the 20-metre line, he strokes it in and strokes it over the bar. First one from Tyrrellspass, and it's a score they need to change. Need to get that scoreboard ticking.
Yeah, and they're probably, you know, there's elements of the game to be happy with. Like Lomans have registered 4 scores, but like they're only 3 behind now. The first quarter is over them. They contain themselves somewhat, and they've a press on this kick out. But Sam McCartan wins it well under pressure from Nigel Hart. And this is what I talk about, Ray, how quickly they can exit from here versus what Tyrrellspass. There's always an effort to try and go forward from Lomans. This occasion, the press from Tyrrellspass has been good.
Yeah, they're being forced to go from right to left and they hold that possession. They're quite content to do that now. And Jack Gagan, Jack steps in, he has the possession now as he comes across the 65. Has Sean Flanagan making a run. Sean takes the possession, takes on Nigel Hart. Nigel Hart, a couple of bites at him there now, and I think he's going to be in the referee's notebook for that one. I think it looks like again.
Yeah, it's a difficult, Ray, because had the referee blown for the first free, there was never a follow-up and there was never a yellow card. But the fact that the advantage was being played and Nigel was still he got himself the wrong side. But now he's going to carry a yellow card and he's marking Sam McCartan for the majority of the game. That's going to be a difficult situation for Nigel to handle now.
Yeah, John Heston has taken the free, goes short to Dempsey. Dempsey holds the possession, forced to come back to Kevin Regan. Kevin carries it forward. And the corner back is Oisin Hogan. Oisin leaves it off again to Kevin Regan, and through the hands it goes. Lomans have gone almost from centre right over to the left hand side, but they're content and hold that possession. Run to a little ball into Kevin Regan. Kevin just holds that possession. Again, takes his time. He's back now with David Whelan. All this inside the Tyrrellspass 65, and eventually the ball is given on there as far as Sam McCartan. Sam, again, they're quite content to hold the possession. We see the patience there from the St. Lomans player. They'll hold it, look up. If there's nothing on it, just recycle again. And David Whelan coming forward with it now, and he's bringing Sean Flanagan into play. Sean has Jack Gagan on this side, but he decides to go back, gives it to Sam. Sam stands out there and just back as far as Kevin Regan, and then Ron O'Toole. He'll try to inject a little bit of pace into it, trying to get away from Peter Clark. Clark does very well, and O'Toole goes to ground, holds on to the ball, holds it on for too long, and it's a free, and Peter Clark and Kieran Garrett actually gets it underway, and now Dennis Glennon is trying to come forward with it now on the 45. Hart coming off the shoulder, comes in towards the D, hops the ball, but then goes away without the ball, and eventually it is the St. Lomans men that have the possession here now. Tackle coming in from Kieran Garrity there, and we had a case there where Nigel Hart lost possession there, and he was very aware that he couldn't commit another foul there, and Lomans were able to exit out of that. And now the ball given down on Peter Clark, a little bit too anxious to try and get to that ball, and pushes Ron O'Toole in the back, and it's going to be a free for St. Lomans that he has already taken, and it's back with Kevin Regan, and now they carry it forward. Kevin on to Shane Dempsey on the spin. Shane tripped. Referee is playing the advantage. He's on the D. He's time to steady. He's time to have a look, and he's time to slap it over the bar. Good play there, and good play by the referee. You have to give him credit there. Barry Neal seen that Shane Dempsey was fouled, but he spun away from it and had time to slap that over the bar.
Yeah, and I think referees have gotten very good at playing the advantage rule. You know, it's only in recent years, Ray. It takes a little while to get used to what's a good decision in terms of advantage or not. But look, Lomans are playing with a great pace, Ray. They're moving everything very quickly. I've noticed a couple of times they're engineering matchups that Tyrrellspass won't want to see. I know that the previous attack had broken down, but Kieran Garrity found himself marking Ron O'Toole. David Lyon was in at full back marking Shane Dempsey. That's not where Tyrrellspass want their matchups. So it's all this rotation and movement and intelligence of the Lomans players to find themselves in these positions that has them 4 points ahead and looking quite a better team at the moment.
Yeah, Tyrrellspass have got us underway, and the ball is over on the far side of the field with Peter Clark. Peter trying to thread a little ball into space over the top over there, looking for the number 13, Peter Pearson, but the Lomans have the numbers back there, and they've snuffed that one out, and Kevin Regan, and through the hands it goes quickly now. Gaffney coming forward, in fact it's Oisin Hogan coming forward, Oisin holding the ball. Again, plenty of time from him, and John Heston comes on, and John hops and solos, and 3 men coming into him. He bounces away from the 3 of them, and then he looks up and he fires one in over the top, looking for Danny McCartan. Danny is good, but good goalkeeping by Joe Hyland. Going to get the fist over, but Shane Dempsey has a Dempsey with the shot. Oh, it's over the bar. Don't know did it not get a deflection, but certainly Tyrrellspass living dangerously in there.
I talk about pace. We saw John Heslin receiving the ball diagonally coming across the field at pace. Jamie Ganood came in to hit him what was a very clean shoulder. It didn't budge John. He managed to have his head up. He saw Danny McCartan spinning off the back of the defender. Look, a good pass. If it was pinpoint, Danny was in. A bit of a clash between Joe Hyland, and then Shane Dempsey decided, you know, I'm not clipping this over the bar, I'm going to have a go, and look, it flashed just higher than crossbar, but you can see a ruthless streak in Lomans at the minute, Ray, and you know, they're really, do you know what, let's put Tyrrellspass to bed as early as we can and have no doubts going into the last quarter of this game. Tyrrellspass are going to have to settle. They're going to have to maybe slow it down. As much as I felt that they'd have to bring in energy, Lomans are have to bring in that, and Tyrrellspass aren't at the pitch of it at all yet.
Yeah, there's an injured player in on our right hand side. I think the number 2, Stephen Quinn, the man that's injured, but it looks like getting treatment, and what the signal is going to be. Is he going to be fit to resume or not? But Joe Hyland has the ball on the 20-metre line. He's getting ready to get us underway, but the referee is just checking with the number 2 that he is okay. He is back on his feet, looking around to see who is he going to pick up as he heads back into place. Joe with the ball on the 20-metre line, clips a right foot on over to the far side, but St. Lomans have put the squeeze on that one. The full back is even up there, and now running a 2. Ball in over the top, into Gaffney. Again, tug back there, I think it was. The referee was playing the advantage, and another opportunity for John Hesson. You know, and even at this early stage, we're an hour 22 and a half minutes gone. Shane, it's looking ominous for that Tyrrellspass defence, because Lomans really putting the squeeze on them at every opportunity there.
Absolutely, Ray. They are. Poor kick out by Joe. He had 2 Tyrrellspass men to aim at, and he hit the Lomans man. It's that speed of hand and offload, and everybody wants to attack. They're running all sorts of lines, Ray, everywhere. And then Ron O'Toole's quick hands, and he got clipped after he played the pass.
Hesson with the free out of his hand. Again, the umpire just ambles forward, pick up the white flag. 7 now for St. Lomans, 2 of them from frees coming from John Heston. That solitary 1 point from the foot of Jerry Egan, the only response for the Tyrrellspass man. The kick out again under pressure, tried to clip it left here, looking for his man inside, it straight out over the sideline, and the ball is in in the direction of Shane Dempsey, but Stephen Quinn does very good well to get a hand in there, and Dennis Lennon is there to pick up the break, and Jamie Ganood now he carries it forward. Tyrrellspass trying to respond. Jerry Egan through the hands. Adam Flanagan bounces off a couple of tackles, but blue jerseys all around, but he manages to shovel pass it on to Peter Pearson. Pearson foul, goes to ground, free for Tyrrellspass. Again, good defending by the Tyrrellspass man that time to get the possession turned over at Pearson, but there's a lot of their fouls happening in the game. We haven't seen them yet. They need to be in the game now. We're heading towards half time. They need to up it and really stand up and be seen at this stage.
And they have whatever breeze behind their back, and they're still struggling to play much football in the opposition's half. They're relying on a couple of these frees that they're winning. This is from a very similar spot to the last one, so we'd expect her to clip it over, but it'll be a 5-point game, Ray.
7 points to 1 at the moment. Ger has a look and makes no mistake. Clips it over the bar, 7 points to 2. And those 2 frees, as you say, Shane, playing coming with the aid of the breeze, coming from frees, both coming from Jerry Egan. Jason Daly is again on the 20-metre line. Tyrrellspass, I see, with Dennis Lennon pushed into the space here now, trying to put the squeeze on, and Daly fires it out into the centre and drops straight into the arms of a Lomans player, shovel off as far as Ron O'Toole quickly down the line where Shane Dempsey has it out in front of his man, had a look up, see who was inside, holds the possession, and then a quick ball inside. Danny McCartan spins away from his man, and Danny on the left foot takes a shot. In fact, that one has gone wide. And almost given to him. Everything else looked so good there, but just came across, probably affected by the breeze, came across the front of the goals. Wide ball and let off for Tyrrellspass there.
Yeah, but so slick, Ray. From a routine kick out, it's not by chance that Tristan Graham found himself available for that kick out. He's swapping sideline each kick out. He's standing behind, so he's offering that effort for Jason Daly to go along with the kick out, and look, everything was so slick, and unfortunately Danny just dragged it wide. But Tyrrellspass managed to turn the ball over again, but they need to get up the pitch much quicker collectively, Ray.
Yeah, and Dennis comes forward across the 65, and they're now gone in past the 45 as Jerry Egan gets on the ball, but again forced to come back out, holds that possession, has support, Kieran Garrity, but again Garrity comes back, no options in there, has to come back as far as Ganood. Ganood does very well, spin away from an opponent, gives it back to Garrity. Referee, I think, playing an advantage there. I think there was a pull back on Jamie Ganood there as he was getting the pass away. Tyrrellspass had the possession, but the referee just calls it back, and he's going to award a free, and this free from the 45-metre line. And Jerry Egan is already out there just tying the boot and say he'll fancy taking a shot at this one, especially with the wind on his back.
Yeah, it's probably just on his distance. The bit of breeze helped him, but you can see the loss of Tommy Ryan out there. Ray, Tommy Ryan has always been part of the transition for Tyrrellspass from back to front. Now Dennis is doing that job. He's working awful hard to get that ball up at pace. You've Jamie Ganood playing a little bit higher, and when Lomans turn it over, then their structure at the back isn't quite as solid as it would be usually.
Yeah, Jerry Egan just taking his time, 26, almost 27 on the clock, 7 points for St. Lomans, 2 so far for Tyrrellspass as Ger comes forward. Gets good height and is dropping. It's a dangerous ball. Up they go. I think that was David Whelan right under the crossbar there. Took control of matters, got a fist to it and gets it out, and it's going to be a 45 now for Tyrrellspass. Ger will this time from the 45 on the opposite side of the field. More suit a right footed kicker. He's making his way across here as the ball is played out to him. Tyrrellspass need to get on the score, but get things going as quick as they can. They'll be experienced enough to know, but Ger this time doesn't go for the score because Jimmy Ganood made a run off his shoulder and he takes a shot. He backs himself, fires it in, and then drops in short, fisted away by the St. Lomans defenders, and then the shot does come in, but that doesn't trouble the scoreboard man as well there. I think it was Darrow Keefe that got the 2 fists and got it away from the danger area, but only managed to find a Tyrrellspass attacker, but the shot comes in and the shot has gone across the front of the goals and wide. We're almost at 28 minutes. 7 points for St. Lomans, 2 for Tyrrellspass. Jason Daly. Jason right footed, just send it out into the centre. It's broken down there by Aaron O'Brien, very, very close to the sideline. Is it gone out over the sideline? No, it's not. It's picked up there by Owen Hogan. Owen does well to get it up and not go out over the sideline. Now O'Toole has the ball. O'Toole tackled hard there. Couple of players having a pop on him there, but he does well to get the possession away because Lomans with David Whelan, he's the centre half back, remember, gives it to Dempsey on the loop around, and Dempsey slips at the wrong time. Tyrrellspass won't win the possession again. Game needs to open up a little bit. Conor Slevin has it. Conor Slevin ducks into the tackle from Sean Flanagan. Not fair, so the referee is going to have a word, I think, with the St. Lomans man. Again, see what colour is he going to give him a card? Seemed innocuous enough, but yes, it is a yellow card for the number 12 there, Sean Flanagan. And play has already gone underway. Dennis Glennon with the possession. Dennis halfway between 45 and 65 comes across into the centre. He's looking around, seeing what options are on. Then he fists it forward. Aaron O'Brien again hasn't been in the play much. He holds his possession now. Gives it back to Slevin. Slevin spins around. A couple of St. Lomans men get around him. He gets it off to David Lynham to Clark. Well, in fact, it's Kieran Garrity holding that possession, but they're all out in the middle of the field, and this time St. Lomans funneling men back, and Garrity then comes on, thought about hitting it in first time, but no options open in front of him, then has to hold the possession, goes across the field, and Tyrrellspass being forced to go back towards their own goals. David Lynham with the possession, and they're back eventually here with Stephen Quinn almost in his own 45, and he's a chance to change the play and offering here as far as Conor Slevin, Sam McCartan about trying to get the tackle in there. In fact, it's the cornerback Owen Hogan. Owen drags his man to the ground there. Slevin trying to get by him there, and the free is going to be on the 46 metres out. 2 minutes additional time is the call from the fourth official. Jamie Ganood this time thought about taking the free quickly, but he's calling Jerry Egan out to take it. For just 15 seconds into the 2 minutes of additional time is Ger again on the 45, thought about going short. Referee just moving players back to it, and Ger holds the possession. I think when all is said and done, he's just going to settle down. referee then pushes him back a little bit, and he takes it then, goes back towards Adam Flanagan, back inside now to Conor Slavin. Conor on to Peter Clark. Clark will come driving forward with it. Eventually Nigel Hart has it. Nigel, quick hands on to Dennis Lennon. Dennis from about 25 metres out clips it in and clips it over the bar. Nice score there from the experienced number 9 there. Took the right option, saw the opportunity to slip the point, and does very well to get it as we enter the last minute of this opening half. Kick out there wasn't a great one from Jason Daly, but it works out well because he gets its intended target, and it was Owen Hogan, and Owen was tackled hard there, and Tyrrellspass do very well. They turn the possession over. Stephen Quinn here now with the possession right in front of the tunnel, back to Kieran Geraghty, back as far as David Lynham with the inside of the right foot, opens play out over to the far side where Dennis Stanton has time to let the ball bounce and pick it up and give it on now to Conor Slavin. Slavin to Lynham, back to Slavin again, and Kieran Geraghty's in space here on this side of the field, about to be closed down as he comes towards the 45, back as far as Aaron O'Brien to Ganood. Thought about going right and then comes left and is back with Aaron O'Brien again. 3 Tyrrellspass players over on the far side of the field as we enter the last 15 seconds of this half. The ball is now with Peter Clark. Peter with Dennis Lennon in support over there on the far side. Dennis holds the ball up, looks around. Again, Clark remains available and takes the pass from him, and he comes across laterally here to David Lynham. Lynham from a standing position halfway between 45 and 65, in fact closer to the 65, and Tyrrellspass are holding that possession. The ball moved into Nigel Hart. Nigel ducks into a tackle, goes to ground, holds the Tyrrellspass do hold the possession because Kieran Geraghty had picked it up, but that's the last action of the half as the referee Barry Nee calls an end to it. Half time here, Shane. 7 points for St. Lomans, 3 for Tyrrellspass, but a game that never really lit up as such.
No, a game that hasn't lit up, Ray. The quality of Lomans has caused a separation for them. Tyrrellspass, they don't have enough players playing at the pitch of the game. There's certainly a few of them that are there. Jamie Ganood, Dennis Glennon are there. Nigel Hart's beginning to press into it. But they look a little disorganised on their inside forward line as well, because you have Dean McNicholas, you have Kieran Geraghty, you have Gerard Egan, and there doesn't seem to be a focal point amongst the 3 of them. They're all coming out and going in, but they need a little bit more structure. Lomans have been very sophisticated in some of the stuff that they've done. I'm very impressed with their pace, their freshness, and of course their accuracy. And look, apart from 2 frees, and the only point from play came from Dennis Glennon when Nigel Hart offloaded him and he clipped it over from, not the easiest of angles and distance, but they just look a little bit toothless in Tyrrellspass. It's not a want of effort or want of endeavour, it's just a bit of structure and maybe having that clinical firepower or target man that didn't get the ball.
Look, we're going to take a break here from commentary here in TG Cusick Park. We'll leave viewers with some highlights and some advertisement, but we'll be back. Don't worry, you won't miss a second. We'll be back here for the second half. Join myself and Shane in about 10 minutes for that second half.
TEG, proud sponsors of TEG Cusick Park, serving aviation, biopharmaceuticals and medical industries across the globe. TEG has been to the fore in the fight against COVID-19 with our customers and partners. A local business employing local people. Visit teg.com/careers to learn more. Wishing all our GAA patrons a safe passage through the championship.
Tyrrellspass, wishing all teams the very best today.
Cusick Park pitch is 145 metres long. Imagine 3 of these bridge beams would make up the length of the pitch. Now transport 30 of them from Harney to Kildare. A challenge overcome by a great team with the support of a great community. My name is Pat Barrett, Project Manager, Shay Murtagh Precast.
Hey, mama, don't you treat me wrong. Come and love you, daddy, all night long.
And you? What do you do? It's a bit complicated to explain.
Hey, hey.
You know, I still didn't get exactly what your job is.
That is what I do.
New Renault Arcana E-Tech Hybrid. Winner, Irish Medium Crossover SUV in the 2022 Car of the Year Awards.
Welcome viewers back here to TG Cusick Park. Shane, what have Tyrrellspass to do to get themselves back into this game? 7 points to 3, facing into the breeze as Lomans just make their way onto the pitch.
Look, if you ignored what had happened and Tyrrellspass were only 4 points down against Lomans and a full half hour of football to play, they mightn't think it's too bad, but structurally they're out of sorts, Ray. I think, like I mentioned, they don't have that focus on the full forward line. Maybe leave Dean McNicholas in there, put a couple of balls in and test the inside line, and have Ger play a little bit more. I know it's easier to mark him when he's out around the top of the D, but maybe do that. And look, they just have to engage their players way earlier. Maybe slow the game, a couple of cynical fouls to slow Lomans coming out. Yeah, you have to be cute playing this game as well. Lomans are just coming up the pitch at too much pace. Essentially could have had 2 goals scored in that first half as well, so the gap could have been way bigger. So they're still in it, but a huge effort and a change to structure required here.
Yeah, from the throw-in, Ron to it again, as he was in the first half, onto the breaking one, and picks it up and fires it as far as Heston. Heston just inside the 45, knew exactly where he was, calls the mark, and this time with the breeze behind his back. Let's see what kind of an impact this has on this free. John, with the right foot, sends it in high. It's curling, but it's not going to curl enough, and it's going to have too much. Listen, Joe Heidel got a bit lost there. That ball was really of no threat. Didn't seem to just know where he was. Probably could have done with a call just to let it go wide, but he didn't. He came out, put a fist to it, and deflects it out, and it is going to be a 45. And I'd say Sam McCartan will be ready to clip this from the ground.
Yeah, Ray, and that's, look, it maybe just shows a little bit of the Tyrrellspass mindset. Nervy in a lot of things that they're doing, not controlled, fearful of this Lomans side maybe. And you know, we mentioned during the week about having clear heads and being in the moment and knowing what's happening. It's only another game of football, and they have to try and play it that way, take the shackles off. We know Sam McCartan's excellent from a dead ball off the ground, but look, we know 45s aren't easy to nail either, Ray.
Yeah, Sam taking his time again. 7 points to 3, side lead in a minute 20 as he fires it in, but it doesn't get it on target. That one to the right and wide. 2 shots early doors from St. Lomans, but no change to the score from half time. 7 St. Lomans, 3 points of Tyrrellspass. Joe Hyland is back there on our left with the kick out. Lomans trying to put a little bit of a squeeze on. This time he does very well. It fires it long. It's scattered out there by Peter Pearson. Calls the mark, and Pearson takes off with the possession. Fires it in. High ball goes in, push on the back. Ball had gone over everyone's head, but there was a push there. I think it was Darragh O'Keefe, the full-back, that committed the foul, and it's free. This free going to be on the 45-metre line. The referee just signal, and the lines went to Jerry Egan where it needs to be taken from. Jerry has moved it back as far as Jamie Ganu. Jamie carries it forward, still has Jerry for support there. He comes so far and then spin around, give it to Egan. Now turns inside where Nigel Hart is in a bit of space, and there's a Tyrrellspass full back is on the ground. Don't know what happened there. The referee is going in to have a word with his umpires. Don't know, Shane, I was watching the ball.
Yeah, there was a coming together of some sorts between Dean McNicholas and Darragh O'Keefe, and maybe an exchange after Dean being targeted with that first long ball and he winning a free from it. But I didn't actually see exactly. I just know who was involved.
Yeah, just watching to see the referee has called McNicholas over. I think he's indicating that he gave an elbow. And it is a red card for the number 11, Dean McNicholas, and certainly not the start of Tyrrellspass needed to start the second half. We see down below here the management having words with the linesman, but I think it was really the umpire that called that one, but in fairness to the umpires, it's probably 20 metres out right in front of them. So
yeah, and a big blow for Tyrrellspass, Ray. We talked about how important discipline is here, and fortunately for Dean, that's his second red card in 3 outings. You know, that's not going to help the cause at all. Umpires obviously saw exactly what happened, brought it to the attention of Barry Nee, and he's dealt with it as he sees fit. But look, that's a setback that Tyrrellspass absolutely didn't need this early in the second half.
Yeah, play will resume with this free for Tyrrellspass, and Nigel Hart gives it back to Peter Clark. Clark comes forward and passes it on now to Dennis Glenn, and Dennis comes back trying to have a look and see what's available in front of him, and then gives it on to Jerry Egan. Jerry holds the possession, about to be closed down. Ganood is there as well, and Ganood fires it inside. where Nigel Hart comes into it. Tackled there by Sam McCartan. Sam forces him back out the field again, and Slevin has it now and lays it off here now to Clark. Peter Clark carries it forward, gives it in now to David Lyndon. We shovel past it in as far as Conor Slevin. Conor with blue jerseys all around and manages to give it back to Peter Clark. And I think we've seen the effects of the breeze here at Tyrrellspass, even though they're about less than 30 yards out from the St. Lomans post. They're not prepared to take the shot on, and through the hands it goes here now. And Peter Clark fouled by Kevin Regan. Free awarded and free taken, and Stephen Quinn again, tackle comes in a little bit too high there, but referee has his arm in the air. But the advantage is with Tyrrellspass is they line up a sub down below us here, but we'll watch the play as Jerry Egan is being tugged back. Referee signals free for Tyrrellspass, is free just outside the 20-metre line. Sub about to be introduced is Tommy Ryan. Tommy was listed to start, didn't start for whatever reason, but obviously not carrying an injury because he's ready to be introduced here, but they'll just hold until Jerry Egan takes it. In fact, so it's David Lyon, the man that's been replaced. He started in place of Tommy Ryan, and he makes his way off behind the goals on the right hand side, but Jerry Egan has the ball in his hand over there on the far side of the field. Not the start of the second half. Tyrrellspass needed, Shane.
No, and I mentioned cynical fouls. You know, Lomans are after fouling Tyrrellspass 3 times in the build up to this free. All 3 of them not in danger areas. We know Jerry's excellent off the boot, but he's kicking into a breeze from a difficult angle. You know, that smarts to be playing the game that way. Stifle any hope they have early after the red card as well.
Jerry fires this in, it's dropping in, but it's grabbed in there by Enda Gaffney, and straight away the Lomans men are on the move, run the 2 running, just holds the possession and back across this side of the field it comes for. Oisin Hogan is in acres of space as he comes out, has support here from Jack Kagan. Jack, ball back inside to Kevin Regan. Kevin steps around a tackle there from Kieran Geraghty, and fisted pass over to the far side. Lomans creating that space, and Sean Flanagan, latest to get on it as he heads into Tyrrellspass half of the field. Leads it off to Sam McCartan, first time ball in as far as Danny McCartan through the hands. Heston, the latest on there, fists the ball in over the top. 2 against 1, chance. Flanagan buries it to the back of the net. A fabulous goal, Shane, before you get into it. Right from the free back inside here. Tyrrellspass never got a hand on it until the goalkeeper kicks it out of the net.
Yeah, and the slickness of play and to move the ball from left to right and then off the boot as often as possible. And to be able to pick that little passage on Heston. Hes knew exactly what was happening behind him, where the extra players were, and then 2 more passes and it's in the roof of the net. And look, things are looking really ominous for Tyrrellspass now, and with the introduction of a sub for Lomans, right?
Yeah, and it's a goal scorer. Sean Flanagan has just been replaced there, having a word there with his manager there, but I think Paddy Dowden was the man that had the word with him as such. Pats the man on the back, and job well done so far by the number 12 there, and TJ Cox, the man that's been introduced, wearing the number 21, and what a luxury it is to have a player of that quality to come on to the team, like with just over 20 minutes remaining in this county semi-final. Senior football championship sponsored by Shay, Murtagh Precast. But Tyrrellspass, they'll stick to it. Dennis Glennon flicks the ball in over the top for Kieran Geraghty, but David Whelan, as he has been doing all year, just sees the danger, gets onto it straight away, mops it up, and Lomans now breaking across their own 45. Danny McCartan, ball to TJ Cox. TJ in a little bit of space. Solas it, looks up with the left foot, fires it, looking for Dempsey. Oh, it's a little bit high for Dempsey. Goal runs in, and Joe Hyland is there to sweep it up. And as far as Cormac Mullen, now Tyrrellspass really need to throw off the shackles and have a go at this game.
Yeah, and they'll have to get the ball out of their hands area, Ray. They're not passing at all, and I think that's where Lomans are doing all this damage. It's when they get an opportunity to kick the ball forward, they do it, and they're ball winners. I know that last pass from TJ didn't come off, but that was on the back of a kick pass that had gotten to TJ as well. They're just also technically very, very good.
Tyrrellspass won a free here, foul on Cormac Monaghan, and they're already underway now, and Nigel Hart has the possession over on the far side of the field. Jamie Ganu comes in centre back here as far as Dennis Glennon. Dennis inside his own 65. John Heston trying to force him back to the left side and then pass them on, and Glennon Gives the pass off here now as far as Ganood, and Jimmy Ganood with the right foot comes in here to Stephen Quinn in a little bit of space. Kieran Geraghty is there for support, and Geraghty comes this side and fists it on here now to Adam Flanagan. Adam carries it forward, shrugs off a tackle, holds that possession, 2 Lomans men around him, goes to ground, gets the free, maybe a little bit of a soft free, but he gets up, takes it quickly because Ger Egan is coming out into space. Ger over to Dennis Glennon, and Dennis with the outside of the right foot curls it in. It's high, but it's not going to trouble the goalkeeper, and it's not going to trouble the scoreboard keeper here in TG Cusick Park, because that ball has gone harmlessly out over the end line. 1-7 to St. Lomans, 3 points for Tyrrellspass, as Jason Daly has given the kick out already to Kevin Regan. Kevin coming in centre here now, gives it on now to David Whelan. He's orchestrated a lot of good work right there from the centre half back position. Gives it here now to Sam McCartan. Sam just holds the possession, brings Aaron O'Brien into play, and then gives the pass off, and he's gone on. He takes it from the brother Danny going forward. Sam back on now here to Shane Dempsey. Dempsey with time to pick it up, have a look at the post. Shane Dempsey's been excellent today. Shane, 4 from the foot of the number 15.
Yeah, but that was all Sam McCartan. Sam McCartan actually fumbled the ball when he was first gathering it. He gave the offload, blasted by Aaron O'Brien. Ger Egan made an attempt to body check him. It was just that power and pace. Gets the ball back and then gives it to Shane Dempsey in loads of space to clip the ball over the bar.
Yeah, mark was won there by Adam Flanagan, and he took the kick quickly, but absolutely no one in there for the Tyrrellspass men. And St. Lomans mop it up. Heslin, Regan, Danny McCartan onto it now. McCartan looks up and with the right foot punts a ball inside straight into Ronan O'Toole. O'Toole takes it in front of his man, and on the turn, not a thing Stephen Quinn could do about it. Clips the point again, 1-9 to 3 points.
Yeah, it's just a completely different level of pace and accuracy, Ray. And look, they're comfortable in everything they're doing. Maybe there's an edginess about Tyrrellspass at the start of the game, but Lomans sucked the life out of them early in the game, and now they're looking at 6s and 7s trying to deal with this, and maybe it could be damage limitation more than anything for Tyrrellspass, but Lomans are obviously making a statement here, boys. We've always had your measure, we have your measure again today, and we're getting ready for 2 weeks' time. To be honest, I don't see any way back for Tyrrellspass.
Yeah, they'll keep up the job, but they do win a free this time on the St. Lomans 45. I think it's TJ Cox, the man who commits the foul there, but it's going to be a free for Tyrrellspass. But again, into the breeze, Kieran Geraghty takes it in a hurry, gives it into Ger Egan. Ger being boxed in towards the corner, but he comes back inside on that right foot, fires it in. Jason Daly, got a fist on it there. Look, almost a comedy of errors in there. It looked like it was going to be headed to the back of the net there. Adam Flanagan was the Tyrrellspass man in under there, and a lifeline there almost for the Tyrrellspass man to get themselves right back into the game. The shot came across from Ger Egan. Jason Daly went high, he got 2 fists to it, but straight into, I think it was Adam Flanagan's face there, and don't know how the ball didn't end up on the back net, but it is a let off for Tyrrellspass or for St. Lomans there, and Jason Daly certainly didn't cover himself in glory there as that ball dropped into the square.
Yeah, could have handled it better, Ray, but it probably balances out the chance that Lomans missed into the same goal in the first half. There's a gap between these teams. The bench probably is stronger on the Lomans side. I see, being a man down as well. It's just almost carnage from a Tyrrellspass perspective, and you don't like to see that in any match, and especially a semi-final. Generally, semi-finals are very, very tight. But look, there's a class about this Lomans side, and it's just the pace of the game that they're playing it, and the quality that's presenting all the time to be on the ball. There's lots of quality in Tyrrellspass, but there's not enough of them around. The quality players are trying their hardest, supporting cast. Like I said, can they step up to it? Unfortunately, they haven't done thus far.
Yeah, the McCartan brothers combining over here, and eventually Tommy Ryan commits the foul. This again, opportunity here for the St. Lomans. I think it's Danny McCartan, the man that was pulled back to the ground, and he's been excellent all through the game as Sam. And opportunity here. I thought Ronan O'Toole might kick him, but it looks like John Hesson is going to take the kick here for his side. Again, another scoreable opportunity as Tyrrellspass get ready to introduce Evan Connell down below us wearing the number 14 jersey. But for now, we'll watch John Hesson as he He's the post here now, and he comes forward, going to clip this one with the right foot. He does that. He fires it in. It's high and it makes no mistake. It's over the bar. Third one of the game for Heston, all coming from frees, as Peter Pearson has been replaced by number 14, Evan Connell. Clock, we're just over 14 minutes gone in the second half. 1-10 for St. Lomans, 3 points for Tyrrellspass. The kick out is going to be down on our left hand side for Joe Hyland. St. Lomans putting the squeeze on the kick out again, and it's clipped short and does well into the arms of Conor Slavin. Conor on now to Cormac Monaghan, but they eventually do get it out here, and Aaron O'Brien goes to ground, holds the possession back now with the man who was introduced, only as a sub. That's Tommy Ryan. He gives it on to Adam Flanagan. Flanagan steps inside the tackle, and then has the ball boxed out of his hand, and the St. Lomans men have it again in the gap, and he goes to ground, does very well to give it to O'Toole. It gives it on now to Tristan Graham, and next to it's Shane Dempsey on it. Shane Dempsey comes across the 45. A couple of players on the loop around. One of them is Danny McCartan, and Danny with the right foot fires it in, but didn't connect on it the way he needed, and Joe Hyland keeps his eye on that one, and the ball is with the second substitute just introduced, Evan Connell, but on now to Aaron O'Brien. All this happened just inside the St. Lomans half of the field, and the ball eventually goes inside, and Kevin Regan tidies things up here, gets the ball into his hand, and with the right foot fires it over to TJ Cox. TJ standing in space over there on the far side, all alone as he carries it up along the terrace side here. Little bit of pace onto him, gives it on to O'Toole. O'Toole on his favourite left foot, comes inside and clips it, and he knew as soon as it left his foot he was on target. Third of the day for Ron O'Toole, and 111 now. St. Lomans 3 for Tyrrellspass, and we're just over halfway through the second half. And you said it already, Shane, it's very much a damage limitation job here for Tyrrellspass. And
yeah, Tyrrellspass went 16 minutes in the first half without registering a score, and they're after doing the same here in the second half, and don't look like they're in any better place to get one, Ray, at the moment. And if there was a gulfing class between Tyrrellspass and Tang last week, there's a gulfing class here today between this Lomans side and Tyrrellspass again. What ended up being a parade last week looks like a parade for the Lomans men today, and that's another score clipped over.
TJ Cox, the man this side, all came from a mark called by Owen Hogan out here from the kick out. Ball finished out of the bar. 112 now for St. Lomans, 3 points for Tyrrellspass. They get us underway again. Dennis Lennon, but he's been very ineffective today and back taking kick-outs from his goalkeeper at the 20-metre line, not affecting the game down to the other end of the pitch at all. But Tyrrellspass have this kick out, and Peter Clark has been faced by Ron O'Toole, and goes left and goes right, and then eventually has to come back to Monaghan, and Monaghan gives it inside to Dennis Lennon, and Dennis pass across the field over to Jamie Ganu. Jamie just slips the ball over the far side again. Aaron O'Brien with the possession. They tried to build, but Jerry Egan has it on the St. Lomans 45. Kevin Regan trying to get the tackle in, doesn't foul him. Jerry holds the possession, gives it back to Adam Flanagan. Adam forced to come back here to Stephen Quinn. There's a couple of players here on this side. Again, it's slow and ponderous and allows the Lomans defenders to shift across the field, and when Conor Slevin gets it, there's 3 or 4 blue jerseys right in front of him. He takes off on the loop around is Tommy Ryan. Tommy thought about taking a shot, slips, holds the possession back to Glennon. John Heston trying to get a tackle in there, but Adam Flanagan has the possession, and Adam does well, looks up, clips the ball into Stephen Quinn, and I think that about typifies how this day has gone for the Tyrrellspass men. The cornerback under pressure takes a shot in, but can't get it on target. Another sub being introduced is Conor O'Donoghue, the man that's coming in. Conor was listed at number 7 to start, but he's making his way on. Jack Gagan, Jack coming off. Again, a man that had been injured in the last game, but good enough to start there. And the other sub coming in, Tristan Graham, has been replaced by number 20, and the number 20 is Kelvin Riley.
Yeah, Lomans guys have the luxury now getting a few minutes into another few lads' legs in championship football before they prepare for a county final in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, and that's a big substitution there. Kelvin Riley, who has been away pretty much all year with them, really first time back on the panel, but obviously a man with absolutely huge experience down the years with the St. Lomans men, and he certainly will add to this team. He certainly adds to the squad anyway. Paddy Dowdle and his selectors down below is trying to get minutes into him. They're over playing keep ball over on the far side of the field here now. Heston, the latest one, back to Regan, back to David Whelan. They have a spare man here. Remember, Tyrrellspass down to 14 men. Darragh O'Keefe has it, and now Sam McCartan makes himself available. He takes it and heads across into Tyrrellspass half of the field. Kevin Regan, they're in support. And all the time they just hold the ball. They're moving Tyrrellspass left and right. They don't mind. 112 to 3 points. Lomans will come forward when they get the opportunity. And now it is a chance here for Sam. Sam McCartan comes forward. Heston is on the loop around, but he just took his eye off the ball at the last second. And Dennis Lennon almost did the very same, and then under a little bit of pressure the ball has gone over the far side. There's fast habit. Again struggling to get out. Pull back there. Referee signals a free out. Danny McCartan, the guilty man, thought his hand was being pulled. Peter Clark not allowed to take the free quickly. Referee brings the ball forward. Jerry Regan has it, and then whatever bit of ground was gained is given back there as he kicks it back to Nigel Hart. On here now to Stephen Quinn. Quinn back to Hart again as he comes into the Lomans half of the field. Adam Flanagan has it now. Adam comes inside, draws a couple of blue jerseys to him, holds on to possession but has to come back. Jimmy Ganood is on the loop around, back to Hart. Nice play here from Tyrrellspass. Can they get the shot in? They can indeed, but under pressure there was a number 5, and Jason Daly this time just allows the ball to run harmlessly out over the end line. 20 minutes and a half gone in the second half. 1 goal and 12 points for St. Lomans, 3 points for Tyrrellspass. And Jason Daly has all the time in the world to get us underway again. Short kick out, and Sam McCartan. Sam has come deep, gives it on to Owen Hogan. And he's wearing the number 11, but he's orchestrated a lot of good work from deep in his own half. Ronan O'Toole has been the same, but Ronan has got forward to get 3 points. And Danny McCartan has handled a lot of ball here. Jinx inside, I think too many steps of the referee there. And referee blows the free, and Tyrrellspass through Dennis Lennon now are coming forward again. But remember, they are a short player, and when they look up in here, there's a St. Lomans man sitting back in the pocket, but Evan Connell holds the possession. But again, eventually bottled up there, and John Hesson with a lovely first time ball into TJ Cox. TJ, 1 against 1, will probably come on his left side. Yes, he will indeed. Coming inside, he's on the 13-metre line, goes to the ground. Referee and signals that there's going to be a free out. Too many steps. Some people beside us in the press box weren't overly convinced about that decision either, but
yeah, maybe somewhat of a sympathy-free rave, there's such a thing. Again, the work rate hasn't dropped from Lomans. Ronan O'Toole and John Hessler managed to turn over a ball. The first thing John does, looks up and nails a 40-yard pass to TJ Cox. He took on his man, he skipped inside. Now maybe Nigel Hart did make him overplay it before they fouled him on the ground, but look, the Lomans aren't taking the squeeze off here, and another long direct ball into Ronan O'Toole from Shane Dempsey.
Yeah, and O'Toole has it. Just needs a little bit of support. Dummies thought about taking the shot on his weaker right foot. Gives it inside. TJ Cox. TJ will come back on the left. Takes the shot, but unfortunately not on target there. But again, we see the ability of these Lomans forwards and backs coming forward with the kick pass. That time it found Ronan O'Toole in over the top. Just need a little bit of support. Eventually, when it did come from TJ Cox, TJ not on target, and let off again for Tyrrellspass. Still remains 112 to St. Lomans, 3 points for Tyrrellspass as Cormac Monaghan has the possession here now. Again, it's all laboured right back in the road, can't break the lines, and slowly gaining ground here as Clark comes inside. Kelvin Riley tries to put a tackle on him, but Clark does well to carry it forward, going into the centre, and again clash there. Well, I think it was Conor O'Donoghue there, and eventually referee brings it back. It's going to be a free. And again, Peter Clark, credit to him, he's been excellent all through the year for his side. He's been excellent in this game as well, carrying it forward. And right to the 45, tackled hard there. Referee did play the advantage. The hit did come in, but the referee just calls it back, and a chance of yellow card, I think.
Yeah, Conor had
number
to pick
7.
Conor O'Donoghue picked up a yellow card, but in fairness, he spotted the danger when Peter Clark was after wrestling his way from the sideline here from a tackle. He saw the danger, he committed himself to it, again, it's not a free that's scoreable into that bit of a breeze, so they're very intelligent in how to foul and where to foul as well, Ray.
Yeah, exactly what happened in the free, because Dennis Lennon took a shot to Jerry Egan, and Jerry has given it back now, and Clark is still coming forward. Kevin Regan trying to get the tackle on him, but he eventually steps, takes the shot, fires it in, and after 24 minutes of the second half, that's the first goal from Tyrrellspass, as they introduce another sub. The number 18 coming in is Chris Daly. We'll see who's going to be replaced for. Linesman down here just waiting for
Kieran Geraghty is removing himself at the back of the goals there, Ray. So
it's Chris Daly wearing the number 18 who's coming in for Kieran Geraghty. Sub. Kevin Regan makes his way off as a sub, being introduced for St. Lomans man. It's number 22, Ryan Jones is the man that's introduced.
It's just a case of formalities, Ray, now, and again, give a few lads a few minutes out there from both sides, I would think. But yeah, a complete mismatch today. I don't think the gap between the two teams is necessarily as large as what the scoreboard says, but the occasion may have gotten to Tyrrellspass. The idea that they had such a comfortable win the last day may have affected how they went about today, but Lomans have been ruthless and excellent at the same time. Right?
Yeah, and Sam McCarthy and Ronald would have just combined up at this other end, and that's fourth on the day for Ronald Toole, and just shows the golfing quality there. Even their strength and everything in the tackle, they can hold the possession. You know, Sam McCarthy has been excellent. He has been excellent all through the year, both with club and county. And you see that time just clips it back as far as O'Toole, and he makes no mistake, puts it over the bar. 113 now to 4 points. Tyrrellspass got us underway again. Right footed out the far side, batted down, and Ryan Jones gets his first touch. As St. Lomans on the attack again. Again, great quality all over the field for St. Lomans. The ball is given in here. Danny McCartan, he's been excellent as well. He looks up. As soon as he gets possession, their first intention is to look up, seeing what's available inside. They'll hold it if there's nothing on, but they'll ping the pass in at every opportunity as well. And they're coming forward here now with Owen Hogan. Owen, over here now to through the hands it goes now. Andy Gaffney, the latest man onto it as he comes across the field. O'Toole is here on this side. Will he back himself? He will, with the left foot. Guides it in, but again drops it straight into the hands of Joe Hyland, and Tyrrellspass have the possession again, and coming up the field again. Adam Flanagan with a little bit of space tries to go forward. His blue jerseys on front of him everywhere he goes, and eventually he has Evan Connell, and Jimmy Ganouk comes off his shoulder. He takes the possession, but again Lomans filter back as we look out. Have the numbers right across the 45. Very, very hard for Tyrrellspass to make any progress through that.
No, and it's hard work. We talked about how Paddy Dowdall operated when he played, and you know his team is reflective of him as a player, both hurling and football. There's a work rate and an honesty there. There's a skill level and there's a composure there, and you know it's reflected out there today, Ray. As far ahead as they are, they're still willing to track back, get their defensive formation, and not give anything to this Tyrrellspass team. If Tyrrellspass get another score in this half, it'll be earned just as difficulty as the previous 4 that we've got in the game.
Yeah, and then the substitution introduces number 18, Shawnee Dinnigan. He's replacing Owen Hogan, the number 2. Linesman just waiting for the St. Lomans man to make his way off the field again. Excellent performance by the number 2 here. He's just making his way off. The referee ready to get us underway. 27 minutes, almost 28 on the clock. The St. Lomans player makes his way off, and they have all the time in the world here. This game peters out as Ronald O'Toole comes forward, low ball into Heston. Heston goes to ground, but had the vision to lay off the ball, and now Andy Gaffney takes it. Gaffney coming to the D. Will he back himself? He will indeed, but that one is not going to bother anyone in there as it hits the net. wide there, but again, super hands there from John Heston. Man almost on his back, going to ground, still had the vision and the ability to get the skill to get the pass on to O'Toole on the run.
Yeah, and O'Toole prepared to kick the pass into that narrow gap and trust his kicking ability. John, we know, is a ball winner. He knew that Ronan wasn't going to give up after giving the pass. They give, they go, they're always involved in the game. And, you know, look at the work rate from them there. You know, the two of the main protagonists today, Danny McCartan and John Heston, working so hard not to let Tyrrellspass man lift his head and give a pass.
Yeah, and Tyrrellspass are coming forward. Conor Slevin tries to come inside the tackle. He's been held there by in the Gaffney. The foul committed. This free just about 40 metres out. At this stage, 1 minute left on the clock. We'll wait to see what additional time is going to be added. Wait for the signal here now, but there's a chance here for Jerry Egan. Jared, 2 points for his side now as he comes forward. This one just from the edge of the D. Right foot, and I think that about typifies Tyrrellspass's day there, because into the breeze that time, didn't connect on it. No authority to the kick at all, and that one just goes to the left and wide. And Tyrrellspass will be hoping here that this number that comes up from the fourth official is not going to be too many, but in fact it's going to be 4 minutes. 4 minutes remaining. We're almost into the last 20 seconds of the 30 as kick out has gone short here. David Whelan has it, and St. Lomans have all the time in the world to play around with the ball here now, and Darragh O'Keefe eventually decides to move it across over to the far side where David Whelan has it. In fact, it's Sam McCartan, Sam on to TJ Cox, and he'll continue on his run, and Cox holds the possession, has support over here on this side of the field. David Whelan, again, he's been excellent for his side when called upon as he carries it forward. Kelvin Riley's in front of him, as is Andy Gaffney. Gaffney on the loop around to Dempsey, to Heston, to Dempsey again. Thought about pulling the trigger at the first time, but then hits it at the second time. Is curling in, dropping, dangerous ball. Oh, it's off the bar. And it's broken to Cox. Cox gets the shot in. Joe Hyland does excellently in the goal. Gets a foot to it. Oh, and another let off again there for Tyrrellspass man. Could have been an awful lot worse, Shane.
Yeah, and Shane Dempsey's looping shot, he would have been disappointed with the strike, and it nearly ended up in a goal. And look, credit to Joe Hyland. After fumbling, he pulled off a good save from TJ Cox, who we know is an excellent finisher. So, look, it's not going to make any difference to this, other than we can still see the Tyrrellspass are playing with a bit of pride and honesty, and that's what you want from your side to see it out, right?
Yeah, they're going forward again here now. Adam Flanagan on to Nigel Hart. Nigel trying to get room on the left foot. He does, but again, the typify there, Darragh O'Keefe, he's the full back. He got the block down and has turned the possession over. He goes to ground, needs a little bit of support. The ball is on the ground. John Heston couldn't get it up. It was eventually back with Conor Slevin, and Conor with the left foot coming forward. Again, an aimless shot there. Out harmlessly, out over the end line. 31 and a half minutes on the clock. St. Lomans 113, Tyrrellspass 4 points. Substituting. Is there a blood sub? I think John Heston has gone to ground. I think the signal is that he's bleeding, so there'll be a substitute coming in, I'd say, at this stage as Heston makes his way off. We'll see who are they going to send on here. It's the number 12, Sean Flanagan, that's been reintroduced. Probably will see out the rest of this game, Shane. Less just a little over the 2 minutes to go. As Jason Daly is back there ready with the kick out again. Signals looking for somebody to make a move, and Westland greeted down here by his manager. A good day's work done, and the kick out is broken down, but Lomans are on to it in a flash on the breaking ball, carrying it forward. Danny McCartan, Danny and Sean Flanagan, he got one of the goal already for his side, runs into a heavy tackle, and referee saying I think a charge there by the number 12 there. Good defending by the Tyrrellspass man, win the free, but at this stage it's all academic because we're entering the last minute and a half as Ellis has the ball back for his side again, back halfway between 20 and 45 metre line. Just casual pass over here to Stephen Quinn, who carries it forward, gets it off here now to Tommy Ryan. Tommy straightens the line, goes out, pops a little ball over the top. And coming on to it there was Peter Clark. Peter fouled. Referee going to have a word with one of the St. Lomans players, number 22, Ryan Jones. I think is going to go into the referee's notebook as we enter into the last minute or so of this game. But overall, Shane, it's been, I think it's fair to say, a total gulf in class between these two sides.
Yeah, on the day it has been. I just noticed Ron O'Toole shifted a very heavy knock on that last kick out.
Nigel Hart has finished that one over the bar. Sorry, Shane.
Yeah, and the last kick out from Jay Daly was floating, and Peter Clark came straight through the back of Ronan Toole. And you know, Ronan gets hit heavily in lots of games, but generally shakes it off. He just looks to be walking very gingerly there. I'm sure it's nothing that'll prevent him from playing in 2 weeks' time. In fact, Peter Clark's after exchanging a greeting with him, more or less, to say sorry about that, pal. I had to go for the ball, which is, you know, honourable as well. Well, nice little score from Nigel Hart, but look, just nowhere near enough of it today from a Tyrrellspass point of view. And Lomans will be very, very pleased going into a county final in 2 weeks' time. I thought they might have been tested a little bit more, but there's certainly an awful lot of what they've done will please Paddy Dowdle and the management team.
Yeah, there's a great chance here again. TJ Cox. Look, it was a quality ball there. I think it was Sam McCartney. It was absolutely an immaculate ball in over the top where TJ Cox was on the run. And the number 21, you mentioned it earlier, Shane, he's a super finisher when the opportunities come, and that time spun around onto his favourite right foot, and I think that's the cherry on the icing and on the cake certainly now. 2-13 for St. Lomans, 5 points for Tyrrellspass as we enter into the last 25 seconds or so of this game. In fact, it is all over. The referee, actually it was gone over the time. The referee, Barry Nee, blows the full time whistle. St. Lomans certainly down here, Shane, will be extremely delighted with how that game has gone for them.
Yeah, 2-13 to 5 points, and it does reflect the difference between the two teams today. Look, so many players were excellent for St. Lomans, but I just think Sam McCartan on his overall performance was just outstanding. Excellent performances from Ronan O'Toole, Danny McCartan, TJ Cox when he came in, David Whelan centre back. Like, there was so much quality out there for Lomans, and you know, whoever comes out tomorrow's battle, as much as it'll be huge for either Kinnican or Colliery to get to a county final, it's not you won't be looking at it as a pretty place to be other than the ceremony at the moment, and they'll have to be real quality to knock this Lomans team from the journey they're on at the moment.
Yeah, and like if anything, their squad is getting stronger and stronger. The introduction of Kelvin Riley back into the panel for the first time in a long time, he'll certainly add to it. He's another fortnight now of training to get under his belt, and they'll be relishing and looking forward to that county final. Paddy Dowdle and his men down there will be, you know, I think he'll be quite happy with how that gone. 2-13, good scoring, could have been a lot more, probably an opportunity for a couple of more scores, but certainly whoever comes up against him in the county final will have it all to do.
Yeah, the scores were quality as well, Ray. There was, you know, Tyrrellspass didn't throw in the towel. They tried very, very hard. They asked questions, or tried to ask questions of Lomans. Was just everything off the boot, the pace with which they played, and then the honesty to defend, the way they defended for the full 64 minutes shows that there's a mindset amongst these Lomans boys that, you know, they're in a really good place mentally as well and attitude-wise. So whatever turns out tomorrow in the semi-final, we'll see. And credit to Lomans, and hard luck to Tyrrellspass. They'll be disappointed over their performance. But another year that the tidy town managed to get down to the last four of the county. It's a credit to a lot of lads in that squad.
Yeah, but look at. That is what it is. We're going to finish here from TG Cusick Park. It is comprehensive victory for the men from St. Lomans. They're through to the county final in 2 weeks' time. Tomorrow we'll be back on Eirve TV for the other intermediate football semi-final between St. Malachy's and Tubberclare, and also the senior football semi-final between Coruscant, Kinnegad and the men from Mount Temple, that's Colliery. They'll be bidden to get through to the Shay Murtagh Precast Senior Football Final for 2023. But look, from commentary here, I'm going to say goodbye. Shane Donoghue, thank him again for being on co-coms. We'll be back again, I'm sure, but for now we'll say goodbye from TG Cusick Park. It is St. Lomans who have a county final to look forward to later on in a couple of weeks.
TEG, proud sponsors of TEG Cusick Park, serving aviation, biopharmaceuticals and medical industries across the globe. TEG has been to the fore in the fight against COVID-19 with our customers and partners. A local business employing local people. Visit